The notification popped up on my phone while I was reviewing quarterly reports in my downtown office. American Express, $15,347.82 charged at Paradise Resort Cancun. I stared at the screen, certain there had to be a mistake. I was sitting in Seattle, 3,000 miles away from any Mexican resort. I hadn't used that car in weeks, and it definitely hadn't authorized any vacation expenses. Then I remembered. Last month, when I'd visited my parents, Mom had asked to borrow my credit card to pay for groceries while Dad was having issues with his debit card. I left it with him temporarily and completely forgotten to ask for it back. My parents used my credit card for a $15,000 vacation without asking. I pulled up the American Express app and scrolled through the recent charges. Paradise Resort Cancun, $8,200 for a week-long stay in a premium suite. First-class flights to Cancun, $3,400. Resort dining and spa services, $2,100. Excursions and activities, $1,647.82. They'd planned and booked an entire luxury vacation using my credit card without saying a word. My phone rang. Dad's name appeared on the screen. "Hey, kiddo." His voice was cheerful, relaxed, the sound of someone calling from a beach chair. "Beautiful day here in Cancun. Your mother and I are having the most wonderful time. The resort is incredible, the weather is perfect, and the spa treatments are amazing." "Dad," I said carefully, "are you calling to tell me about the $15,000 you just charged my credit card?" There was a pause. Then, to my amazement, he laughed. "Oh, that. Well, yes, we used your card for the trip. We figured you wouldn't mind." "You figure I wouldn't mind?" "Dad, that's $15,000. You didn't ask permission. You didn't even tell me you were going on vacation." "Listen, sweetheart," his voice took on the patronizing tone I remembered from childhood. "You make good money at that little tech job of yours. This is a drop in the bucket for you. Besides, your mother and I have sacrificed so much over the years raising you and your sister. We deserve a nice vacation." I was speechless. The casual entitlement, the assumption that my money was somehow their money, the complete lack of acknowledgement that they'd essentially stolen from me. "Dad, you can't just use someone else's credit card without permission. That's... Oh, come on. Don't be dramatic. We're family. What's ours is yours, and what's yours is ours, right? Besides, consider it a thank you gift for all the years we supported you." The irony was staggering. For the past 3 years, since I'd started Anderson Digital Solutions, I'd been quietly supporting them in ways they didn't even know about. But they saw me as their financially comfortable daughter who owed them for their parental sacrifices. "We'll talk about this when you get home," I said. "There's nothing to talk about, honey. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you when we get back. Your mother says hello." He hung up, leaving me staring at my phone in disbelief. A week later, they returned from their unauthorized vacation, tanned and relaxed. I drove over to their house on Saturday morning, bringing my laptop and a folder of documents I prepared. "There's our world traveler," Mom called out as I walked into their living room. She was showing photos to my sister Kelly, who'd apparently stopped by to hear about their amazing trip. "Look at this sunset from our balcony," Mom gushed, scrolling through pictures on her phone. "And the infinity pool. Kelly, you should really plan a trip there with David. It's absolutely magical." $15,000 magical, I said, setting my laptop on their coffee table. Dad looked up from the travel magazines he was browsing. "Oh, here we go. Drama time. You owe us this much," Dad said when confronted about the credit card charges. 30 years of raising you, feeding you, housing you, putting you through college. 15,000 is nothing compared to what we invested in you." "Invested in me?" I asked. "Dad, you didn't pay for my college. I had scholarships and student loans that I paid off myself. We provided emotional support," Mom added. "A stable home environment. That's worth more than money." Kelly looked uncomfortable. "Maybe you guys should discuss this privately." "No," I said, opening my laptop. "Actually, Kelly should hear this too." I smiled and opened my laptop. "Let me show you something interesting." I pulled up a spreadsheet I'd been maintaining for 3 years, a detailed record of every financial transaction related to my parents. "Dad, Do you remember when your car broke down 2 years ago and you couldn't afford the $4,200 repair bill? What does that have to do with anything? You called me, panicking because you needed your car for work. I wired you the money that same day. Do you remember what you told me about paying it back? You shifted uncomfortably. We said we'd pay it back when we could. Right. Well, you never did. But that's okay, because I wasn't expecting you to. I scrolled down the spreadsheet. Then there was Mom's dental work. $6,800 for the crown and root canal that insurance didn't cover. Mom's face flushed. You said it was a gift. It was. I'm not asking for it back. I'm just establishing a pattern. I continued scrolling. Dad's emergency room visit last year. $2,100 after insurance. Mom's prescription medications when you were between insurance plans. $890. The down payment for Kelly's wedding venue that you couldn't afford. $8,500. Kelly's mouth fell open. You paid for part of my wedding? Your parents asked for help because they'd already committed to the venue but didn't have the deposit. I was happy to help. Their faces when they saw I'd been supporting them for years showed a mixture of shock, embarrassment, and dawning realization. But that's not all. I continued, opening another spreadsheet. This is where it gets interesting. Dad, you mentioned that I make good money at my little tech job. Let me show you what Anderson Digital Solutions actually is. I turned the laptop screen toward them. The first page showed my company's client list, major corporations, government contracts, international consulting agreements. Anderson Digital Solutions isn't a job, Dad. It's my company. I founded it 3 years ago, and it now employs 47 people across 3 offices. The room went silent. Mom stopped looking at her vacation photos. Dad set down his travel magazine. Your company? Mom whispered. My company. We specialize in cybersecurity and digital infrastructure for large organizations. Our annual revenue last year was $12.3 million. Kelly made a small choking sound. $12 million. That's revenue, not profit. But yes, it's been quite successful. I scrolled to another spreadsheet. Now, here's what I really wanted to show you. This is a complete financial analysis of your household expenses versus income for the past 3 years. The spreadsheet was color-coded and detailed. Red entries showed where their expenses exceeded their income. Green entries showed money that had come from me. Your mortgage payments for the last 18 months? I've been covering the difference between what you can afford and what you actually owe. Your property taxes last year? Entirely paid by me through an anonymous payment system. Your health insurance premiums when Dad was between jobs? Me again. Dad's face had gone pale. How much? In total, over the past 3 years, I've provided $127,000 in direct financial support to your household. That doesn't include gifts, emergency help, or the vacation you just took. The silence stretched for a long moment. Then Mom started crying. Sweetheart, she said through tears, we had no idea. We thought you were just doing well at some tech job. We didn't know you own a company. We didn't know you were successful. Why didn't you tell us? Dad asked, his voice small. Because of this, I said, gesturing to the laptop screen. Because the moment you learned I had money, it would change everything. Look what happened when you thought I just had a good job. You felt entitled to charge $15,000 to my credit card without asking. But we're family, Kelly said weakly. Yes, we are. And as family, I've been happy to help when you needed it. When Dad's car broke down, when Mom needed dental work, when you needed wedding venue money, I never hesitated to help. So what's different about the vacation? Dad asked, though his voice suggested he already knew the answer. The difference is consent. Every other time, you asked for help. You explained the situation, and I chose to assist. This time you just took. You decided that my money was yours to spend however you wanted. I pulled up one more document, a bank statement showing the account I use for family support. This is the account I've been using to help you. As of yesterday, it had $340,000 in it. That was going to cover your expenses for the next several years, plus emergency funds for any major issues that came up. Mom asked fearfully. I'll move the money to a different account, one that requires my explicit approval for any withdrawals. But what about our mortgage? Dad asked, panic creeping into his voice. The property taxes? The insurance? You'll need to figure that out yourselves. If you want my help in the future, you can ask for it. But the days of me quietly covering your expenses while you take my money for granted are over. Kelly looked stricken. Does this mean you won't help with family emergencies anymore? I'll always help with genuine emergencies. Medical crises, job loss, actual disasters. But luxury vacations? That's not an emergency, and it's definitely not something you get to charge to my credit card without permission. Dad hung his head. We messed up. We really messed up. Yes, you did. But more than that, you revealed how you really see me. Not as a successful business owner who's been generously supporting you, but as someone whose money you're entitled to because you're my parents. How do we fix this? Mom asked. I closed the laptop and looked at both of them. First, you pay back the $15,000. I don't care if you have to take out a loan or work overtime or sell things. You don't get to keep the vacation you stole. Okay, Dad said immediately. We'll figure it out. Second, you start managing your own finances. I'll help with emergencies, but I'm not going to be your invisible benefactor anymore. You need to live within your means. And third, Mom asked. Third, you apologize. Not just for the credit card, but for 30 years of treating my success as something I owe you rather than something I've earned. They both nodded, tears in their eyes. As I packed up my laptop and prepared to leave, Dad called my name. Anderson. I turned back. I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago, but I'm saying it now. What you've built, what you've accomplished, I'm proud of you. Thank you, Dad. That means more than you know. And I'm sorry. For all of it. For not seeing how successful you are, for taking advantage of your generosity, for treating you like you owed us instead of recognizing how much you've given us. I looked at my parents, really looked at them, for the first time in years. They looked older, smaller somehow. The weight of their financial dependence on me, the reality of their situation, was finally visible to them. I love you both, I said. But love doesn't mean you get to take whatever you want from me. It means you respect me enough to ask. As I drove home, I felt lighter than I had in months. The family financial dynamic that had been draining me emotionally and financially was finally out in the open. They knew who I really was, what I'd really been doing, and what the consequences were for taking that for granted. My phone buzzed with a text from Dad. Called the bank. We can get a loan for the $15,000. We'll have it transferred to your account by Monday. Again, we're sorry. I smiled and put the phone away. Maybe now we could start building a relationship based on honesty and respect instead of hidden support and entitled assumptions. The vacation they'd stolen had cost them far more than $15,000. It had cost them the comfortable fiction that they were independent and that I was just their moderately successful daughter. But maybe, in the long run, that would turn out to be worth the price.